Hey everybody, DJ Professor Lee here, and this is just a quick video where I'm talking about backup systems. Actually, this is kind of a series where I'll be talking about backup systems, and I'm focusing on two things with backups. One is what I consider an emergency backup, what that is, should you have one, and what would that entail, and then the other is a redundant backup should you have one of those, and what does it entail? But I got a question from a buddy of mine who had an emergency situation, and he could have used one of the backups systems that I prefer to use, and I call it an emergency backup system. It's not a redundant, it's an emergency backup system. So I'll just say real quickly, what's the difference between the two? An emergency backup system is a device, or it's a list that in a quick moment you can access it. It's available to you, full time while you're playing live, and you can have that replace what you are hoping to play live, your regular set list. You can replace it with that emergency backup. So an iPod would be an example of an emergency backup system. It's something that would be running while you're actually running your current system, your main system. Likewise, the same thing with playlists. Before I head out for an event, and I know that there are different opinions about whether or not you should have a pre-planned list or a pre-programmed list, that's a debate for another time. I'm a firm believer that whether you like to DJ on the fly, you should always go to an event prepared with something that you're going to offer the audience should everything go south, and all you can do is just basically put one song on after the other, given whatever the circumstances are. You pretty much have an idea what direction you want to go. So whether you use that process or not, that's up to you. And if you don't, well then perhaps what I'm going to talk about doesn't apply to you, but I think it does in a way. All right, so let's say, for example, I have an event coming up tonight, actually, where it's a swing dance event. So basically, I have a playlist that I plan on using, and I have it loaded in the auto mix. Now, I don't use auto mix while I'm actually playing live. I actually put this particular playlist that you see here, I put it as a, what do you call it? I have a shortcut on the bottom over here that I can get to that playlist very quickly. Actually, I don't have it loaded here now, but I can go over here, right mouse, make sure it's highlighted. I'll go down to the bottom here, you see the little wheel here. Go ahead and click on that little wheel and add a shortcut. So now that is here. Now at this point, I can now go in and I can delete this. I can go in and clear this list and leave my auto mix pane open for, if I need to go to the bathroom, or if I need to talk with someone, or I'm starting my breakdown for the night, or whatever I need to do. I can use this list for whatever I want, all right? However, when I'm planning to go to my event, I create my list, and I use the auto mix pane to create my set list, or how I think I'd like to take the crowd throughout the night, knowing that I'll change it perhaps at some point through the night, and the resulting product is not going to look much like this. Let's say this is what I just put together. Let's say I just worked on all of this. I pretty much have it exactly the way I want it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this. All right, and I will save it. I've already saved it, so let me just go ahead. I'm going to click rename. I just want to get that copy, just make sure I don't mess something up here. All right, so I've got it in my auto mix. I go here and I go to save it. Now when I save it, it's going to save it as default, but I don't want it to be default. I want it to be this name. I've already done all this, so this is going to tell me that the file already exists. Okay, I already know that it exists, but yeah, that's exactly what I want. So I have saved it. Now here's the backup part, and I'm going to leave this video at this. After you've done this, and after you've saved this playlist, what you're going to also do is you're going to go back over here, you're going to save it one more time. You're going to save it, but you're not going to save it with this name. You're going to save it as 1-backup. You can make it whatever you want. I save it 1-backup. For me, 1-backup is whatever current event I'm working on. That's where the backup for that event is. And I hit save. It's going to tell me that it already exists. It's probably going to overwrite the last event I did, which was a salsa event. That's okay, because I don't need that for that event anymore. And that's it. So now what I have here, you see this, my search pane is not changing at all. The reason it's not changing is because this file and this file is exactly the same. So if for some reason this file, my shoreline swing dance file, got corrupted, or I accidentally deleted it, or I wrote over it, I saved something else over it, I can always go to my backup playlist, okay, and I can bring this back, and then I can load this, load this on into my auto mix, and then I can rename this whatever I want. I can name it the one that disappeared. All right, so that's just a quick way to be able to get your playlist back. Should you have a problem while playing live, if somehow you end up you can't find your backup, you can't find your playlist, or you deleted your playlist, or the system deleted your whatever happens to it, you've always got a backup. Now this, I'll leave it at this. This, where I have -backup, that's an emergency backup, so it doesn't fit the bill of a redundant. It's not a replacement for. It is in a sense, but it's not really. And the reason it's not really is because if the whole dang computer crashes, then I don't have access to any of this. So therefore, it's an emergency backup, not a redundant backup. The redundant copy of both of these, or at least one of these, would be on a separate device. Okay? At any rate, this is a little bit longer than I intended. That's it for me. I'm DJ Professor Lee. You have yourself a good one.